Before we move on from LinkedIn, I want to do a rapid fire round on some of the things, some of the elements to LinkedIn and get your quick comments on each one of them. If you're okay with that, you ready for this?
Yeah, let's
Okay,
go.
great. Let's start with creator mode.
Unsure on where they're going with that. I think it was a big rollout, and then it's been pretty disappointing so far, if I'm honest with that.
Writing LinkedIn posts every day.
I think initially writing posts every day can be helpful, and I would say every day would be Monday through Friday. But I've really found a sweet spot with 3 to 5 posts a week. I think that is enough for most people.
LinkedIn articles.
I would say don't waste your time with them. Unless they drastically change it. I wouldn't waste time on articles. I'd much more focus on just kind of like regular newsfeed posts, video. I was gonna say stories then, but they nixed that. So, but yeah, I would stay away from articles or focusing a ton on articles.
LinkedIn groups.
Groups, I think I wouldn't waste the effort in building one right now because it's the notifications that's an issue. But they keep talking about kind of reviving LinkedIn groups. So there could be value down the road. But again, it's like articles. I probably wouldn't waste a ton of time on groups. I'd much more focus. If you're going to do a group, trying to connect with people and get them to like a Discord or a different server where the notifications are a lot better.
A topic that attracts a lot of polar views. Polls.
Hey, I'm a fan of polls. If you niche down and you've got a really select market that you're trying to reach, for example, like if you were recruiting electrical engineers and you have like a really specific question for electrical engineers, can be a great way to actually start conversations with people. I think if you're just going to use it just to get views, the conversion from polls and like polls that have gone viral to like profile views is really, really low, which would signify people don't really care who made the poll. They'll just click a button. Um, so I'm a fan of them if you know how to use them and if you can convert them. But if you're literally just doing them just for views, you'll get the views, but you won't get the conversion of your profile, which for me is a major metric that you need to consider.
The value and necessity of making comments.
Oh yeah. To me, the comments are at times more powerful than content. I think especially when you're starting out, like when I started creating content on LinkedIn, I probably spent 2 hours a day just commenting on other people's and networking and building up that network. So I think comments are probably the area that people give the least amount of effort to. But for me, the comments, and this is like on all platforms with maybe the exception of TikTok, but I feel like comments are probably the best way to connect with people in general.
And finally, this may be different because you're an HR recruiter. The need to accept or your approach to connection requests. And I'm sure you get a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely changed as well. Like originally, it was the race to 30K because a really well known influencer had said you got to get to 30K, so like your follow button will show up when you produce content. I've actually been going through and getting rid of connections that just aren't valuable, which is basically people who aren't active on the platform that I'm connected with. So if I was to rebuild those connections, it's looking at it and going, what can I do for this person? Or like, are they gonna am I gonna be able to provide value to them? Are they gonna be able to provide value to me? That should be the basis for decisions. And you definitely shouldn't just connect with everyone. To me, that's a surefire way just to get spammed nonstop over and over on the platform.
One final question, LinkedIn related. When you think about life beyond LinkedIn, what are your thoughts about other platforms that people, I guess, professionals should consider?
I I think you should be on every platform, to be honest, because I just think that I think that the challenge is the time allocation for each one. So just got to think like, what's your ultimate goal with the platform? So for me, LinkedIn's an obvious one because I'm a recruiter, and that's where recruiters do the majority of their business. But I think like understanding trends on other platforms is a big deal. And even with TikTok, a lot of people have just been on the fence with it and kind of writing it off. And I'm not saying you need to like necessarily even produce content on there, but just be aware of what's actually going on. And what you find is a lot of the trends on a platform like TikTok, they end up in other places, and you wonder like, well, why is this ad like this on TV? And if you know the trend from TikTok, then you can start to understand like where the influence is really coming from. Same with Twitter. Like I'm on Twitter as well, and obviously I'm super late to the game on that, but I just find it really interesting to understand what are the subjects that are trending, and then overall, um, how are people connecting on different platforms. So I think if LinkedIn is where the majority of your clients are, then yeah, definitely spend a lot of time on the platform, but keep open to other platforms as well. And like you said, like LinkedIn's evolving, a lot of other platforms are evolving as well. And I think it's just helpful to understand why and understand about each platform, to be honest.
Okay, that's great. Appreciate all your insight into LinkedIn.